Okay, Dave, counting you in at 5, 4, 3.
And good morning, Newton Falls. My name's Dave Lynch. I'm the city manager here in Newton Falls, Ohio, and this is our morning briefing regarding the era of the coronavirus. And we do these on a regular basis because we want you to get a perspective on a local basis. You know, when the COVID-19 activity started here in Ohio, the governor was having regular press conferences and the president was convening his task force on a regular basis. And a number of folks said, well, what is Newton Falls doing on a local basis? And so we decided to answer that call by giving you a local flair on what's happening. We've talked to businesses, government officials, and really have produced information regarding the new normal as it affects us here in Newton Falls, Ohio. Next week, we will not be doing this on a daily basis anymore. We'll only be doing the morning briefing on Tuesdays and Fridays. And that will be our new normal. And we've discovered that it's a good way to reach out to the community generally anyhow. Before we get to our first guest, what I wanted to mention to you is the fact that during our council meeting on June 1, just a couple of days ago, we were at a new venue. Due to the kindness of Paul Woodard, the superintendent, and Russ Corley, the director of the physical plant for the Newton Falls schools, we got to have our council meeting at the high school stadium. It's never been done that way before, but allows us to get back to more of a state, as our mayor said, of normalcy, because we had everybody at the meeting that wanted to communicate with us. And it really felt like sort of reuniting of a family that had been apart for a while. So it was great. Well, the really neat things about it, however, is that we lost the audio for 5 minutes and 22 seconds of that meeting. And of course, the Blue Birds keyboard warriors said, well, that's they're trying to hide what happened during that 5 minutes and 22 seconds of that council meeting. Well, it turned out Kathy King had a small digital recorder, and she captured that missing 5 minutes and 22 seconds. And Tom Gregory, our producer at Gregory Films, was able to incorporate that audio onto the video that he had of the missing time and fully restored, therefore, the complete aspect of that production and posted on Facebook and YouTube, and it plays on Spectrum Channel 1023. So because of a backup system that we didn't know we had, thanks to Kathy King, we were able to make sure we had everything. So those of you that launched your conspiracy theories, where is your theory now? It's gone. Well, I am excited today because today is the day of Toms. What I mean by that, we have two outstanding guests. They're both named Tom. And the first Tom is a fellow who I would dub the father of the cross-country program in Newton Falls. He's quite an athlete himself. If you see a picture of him, he looks like he's only about 26 years old. That's because he keeps himself in good shape through his own running. And more importantly, when he exercises his energy, it's not just in the interest of running and cross-country, it's on behalf of the community. He's the vice president of the Newton Falls Commerce Association, and he's the one that started a wonderful Facebook page, really a Facebook page that is what a Facebook page should be, a source of positive feeling and information to the community. It's called, of course, Be the Newton Falls, and now you know who the first Tom is. It's Tom Colosimo. Good morning, Tom. How are you?
Good. Thank you, Dave.
It's great to have you on. And Tom, there are about 1,000 reasons why we'd want to talk to you when it comes to Newton Falls, because you've been helpful in so many things. But what really sparked my interest in having you on this morning is that you've been encouraging and have been on the periphery of something that may be coming to fruition pretty soon, and that's something called a community trail. Tom, what got you interested in the community trail, and what do you see may be happening potentially with reference to the community trail in Newton Falls?
We were supposed to start this about 3 months ago with a civil engineer from the Department of Agriculture, but we got set on hold because of the COVID-19. And we contacted him again, and we're going to start this back up. We're going to be in the planning stage of this, as far as laying out and marking the 46 acres on the school property to be used. We're going to be using GPS technology so we can have an accurate map to be able to use online and hand out to the people using the trail. The trails can be used for fitness, outdoor science lab, and hopefully cross country.
All right, Tom, so I'll make sure I understand. Tell everybody, what is a community trail? If you were to give a definition of it, what would it be?
This community trail is going to be on school property, but it's going to be open to the public to come and use anytime they want for hiking, walking, running, anything they would like to do outdoors. This trail is not going to cost anything to the school or community. We have volunteers lined up that said they would help us out. Even the military from Camp Garfield said they would send out their personnel to help us. We have people that have stump grinders and chainsaws and all sorts of equipment needed for this.
Well, that is outstanding. So to some extent, Tom, I've noticed that in a number of the metro parks throughout Northeast Ohio and in a lot of the state parks, there are these things that are called a nature trail. And to some extent, it's very similar to that. Would that be a way of describing it?
Yes, we'll probably have the local Girl Scouts or the kids at the school put up markers that identify trees, vegetation, animals in that area to make it more enjoyable for the public to use.
Yeah, and that's a great educational feature. Well, Tom, you've been involved in so many things in the community, but what inspired you to help us put together a community trail in Newton Falls? What was your inspiration?
My inspiration was hopefully someday that we would have a cross-country team, and it looks like it could happen. I'm pretty optimistic about it. So is my daughter, and that's like the main reason why I wanted to do this, so we'd have a place here so we could hold our own meets, and everybody could use it.
Yeah. Well, by the way, that's really outstanding. And your daughter is quite an athlete herself, but my suspicion is that your own athletics has sort of contributed to your interest in helping her along the way as well. And she's had quite a bit of success in the world of cross country, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's done quite well in junior high. She went to the state meet. She did well in track. She has some school records, and this would be the first time the school's offered this at a high school level, so she's really excited about that as well.
That's right. Well, Tom, I just think it's great because establishing a community trail, it's like a gift to the community, and the fact that you are describing something which has the opportunity to be done in a way that's zero cost to the community is just frosting on the cake, Tom. And I thank you so much. And, you know, Tom, your Be the Newton Falls Facebook page has been a wonderful, inspiring contrast to a lot of the Facebook posts that happen in this community. You know, I always tell people Facebook is a place where dark messages and angry people go to congregate, but that's not true of your Facebook page. Tom, what was it that got you to create this very positive area and source of information in Newton Falls?
My wife actually came up with this idea for Be the Newton Falls, and it just kind of blew up from there. We wanted to show the community and surrounding communities that Newton Falls is a great place to live, a great community, and there's a lot of good things happening here. It kind of gets put aside when, you know, the negativity comes up, and then everybody forgets about the positive. So we want to have a place where there's nothing but positive for everybody to see at all times. Yeah,
and that's your wife Tracy, who's been as involved in the community as you have been, Tom. And I congratulate you. I congratulate Tracy, your daughter. You've really proven that you don't have to be a government official to have a real big impact on the community. I'm sure, Tom, for you, it must be very fulfilling to see these ideas that you have, instead of just being little seeds left on the ground, they begin to grow and they begin to blossom as well.
Yeah, so we enjoy helping out as much as we can, and we're going to continue to do so where the community and the school needs us.
Well, Tom, we are awful grateful that you are here. And the community trail, folks, it is slowly but surely emerging to become a reality. And to a great extent, because we've got some, you've got to have a catalyst. Nothing happens without a beginning, a spark. And Tom, you are a spark in Newton Falls. Thanks for everything you do for us, Tom.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it.
All right, that's Tom Colosimo. Thanks, Tom. Have a great day today. And we are so inspired by what Tom has done. When you heard that interview, Tom comes across with a great deal of humility. And that's because he doesn't want credit for anything. You know what? That's what real leadership is about. Some people think leadership means getting your face out there, getting your voice out there, being the person that's in the front of the parade. Real leadership is doing the work, not seeking credit. The person that digs the trenches. When you go by that beautiful field of some vegetables or some wonderful crop, you see all of that. But what you're not seeing is that there was a farmer somewhere who had to do a lot of digging and planting and tilling and irrigation, and you don't see that farmer. Well, when this community trail comes to full fruition, remember the name of Tom Colosimo and Be the Newton Falls. Tom and his wife Tracy and his daughter Mia, an outstanding athlete in her own right. Well, I said today was the Morning of Toms, and that's because our second guest, I almost feel like this is a surprise because we're going to go behind the curtain, which means we're going to talk to the fellow that is the producer-director of this program, the producer-director of our city council meetings, which is no easy task, especially when we're having meetings at football stadiums, and all of the other public events that we have covered by him. And that is the owner, director, operator, entrepreneur, head, chief mogul of Gregory Films, Tom Gregory himself. Good morning, Tom. How are you?
Good morning, Dave. How you doing?
Great, great. It's great to have you here. And Tom, thanks for coming on. You've done so much for our community since you came on board about a year ago. And probably the most amazing thing was the production you did for the high school graduation. Tom, tell us how that happened and how it came together.
Well, first of all, hello, Newton Falls. How you doing? This is a messy desk, so hopefully messy means busy and good. But first of all, I'm in a position where I'm very blessed because I love what I do, and I get to do that for a living. Not many people could say that, I have to go to work. No, I get to go to work. God has blessed me very much, and everybody has certain gifts and talents, and he lets me use this to support my family and make an income, so that's awesome. With the schools project, I had contacted the school principal and about a couple months before the graduation and sent out, I'd be happy to help out, let me know how I could help. So they contacted me back and we put this plan together. They actually came up with the entire plan themselves. I just produced the whole thing for them. We pre-shot everything in 3 days, and then I edited everything together and we did it live at the stadium.
Tom, you said pre-shot, so you did something at the high school?
Yes, for 3 days in a row. It was a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, if I remember right. We shot all of these students coming across the stage at 10-minute intervals. So we had about a 9-minute break between each student. And that was for safety reasons, for, the coronavirus. Everything got wiped down and everything was sanitary. They were very good about keeping everybody safe and secure. And I'm going to go to this video right now.
To be standing here today. But I would like to especially thank you, as well as the community,
at the high school, and this was displayed at the stadium.
Sure, there's Ali Sembach. She was the president of the senior class, and so what we're looking at now all happened on the stage, and separately produced without an audience in the auditorium.
Yeah, there was no audience. And then, of course, we had live camera there at the Skyway Drive-In.
So you shot this stuff at the high school, and then everybody assembled at the drive-in. So what happened there?
They showed it on the big screen, and it was wonderful. We had John Crowder. Let me see if I can skip ahead here. Where is
Send a message
Mr.
to
Crowder?
Ray.
Of course I'm
All
skipping.
right.
There he
he
is.
Kaylina.
He was in the concession stand.
Yes,
and
I
by the
see
way,
that.
let me say the popcorn was awesome.
Yeah, I'm
I
sure.
apologize. Nobody else there got any but us, and it was really good.
Yeah.
Go nuts for nuts.
Oh, that is very cool.
All right.
So
Again,
you essentially
thank you very much,
shot
Athletic
without an
Director
audience a
Solutions
graduation
for
ceremony,
coming in
and then
and being
convened
able to
everybody
flash
in their
out.
automobiles at the Skyway Drive-In and
Yes.
played it all on the big screen. Well, I got to tell you, Tom, the senior class felt badly. They couldn't have a normal graduation, but now they're saying, we actually had an extra special graduation, Tom.
Oh yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed it, and what made it great for me was this card that I got from Allison, the
Allison
senior-
Sembach.
Yeah, the class president. The thank
Sure.
you on it. It was so wonderful. It made me feel so good. I was really happy about it. So thank you again for that. I'm so happy to be involved, and let's do more together. I love working with your students. You got a great video teacher there, and we could do some wonderful things together. I'd love being involved.
That's great, Tom. Well, Tom, switching directions a little bit, about 2 weeks ago, I approached you and said, you know, the mayor, Mayor Ken Klein, and I have been talking about finding a way to bring a little bit more normalcy back to our council meetings, and that means having folks from the public attend the meeting and have a chance to talk to the city council live during a live stream of our meeting. And because outdoor venues provide a safer space in terms of the coronavirus, we said, how about doing this at the high school football stadium? And Tom, after you got up off the floor,
Yes. Yeah.
there were a lot of challenges you had to overcome to pull that off, weren't there?
Well, my first thought, honestly, was, "Are you nuts?" But yeah, we did pull it off. It actually went across pretty well. There's footage of that there. Aside
Sure.
from the the Watergate missing 5 minutes 22 seconds.
Right.
But everything came out
Just
really
briefly,
well.
thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sorry about the audio there.
Oh, that's
And,
all right.
Even though power went out about 45 minutes before we're going to go live,
Yes.
for 30 minutes we lost power. All our settings were gone.
By that
Everything
way,
was
that's what we
screwed
call
up.
a worst case scenario.
It really was.
Losing
it really
power.
Was, yes.
Unbelievable. But somehow you got the audio back up and running,
Well,
and things
I
went
have a
pretty
great
well.
crew, Dave. Amy and Bob, our audio guy, and Amy, our videographer, and
Amy
Steve is
Kloss.
Amy Kloss, yes.
I always
and Bob-
call her Mrs. Kloss. She doesn't like that. But
No, she does not. No, so now she doesn't.
what's
like
Bob's
you more.
last name?
Bob Davis. He's from Austintown. He runs Davis Floor Care.
Yeah.
He's also one of the best bass players I've ever played with in my life.
Ah.
He's just fantastic.
And by the way, even though he wasn't part of the crew, part of your regular city council crew before the coronavirus kicked in was Steve. What is Steve's last name? Do you remember?
Steve Hardinger.
Steve
And
Hardinger.
Steve has been with you
Yeah.
folks way before I got involved.
Yeah, before you came in, he was
Oh,
doing
yeah.
our council
Steve was
meetings.
doing his one camera, and
Yeah.
if the camera would whip over to here and over there and over there and over there.
Yeah.
So you had me get involved, and I'm so glad we got together on that. Now we've got 4 or 5 cameras in the council room. It's a much more professional production than Steve could have ever done because he didn't have the resources. But Steve is a fantastic camera operator. He really is. And we miss him. His job has got him so tied up in the evenings now that he's not available for us on camera crew. So, Steve, please come back soon. We need you, buddy. Okay.
Well, you know, Tom, this sort of a congratulations to you. About a year ago when you came on the scene, we began to live stream on YouTube and live stream on Facebook. We were already doing some of the production prior to your arrival on Spectrum, but we've upgraded everything, went to a multiple camera system, and a multiple camera system allows you to capture things that you just can't capture with a single camera, as you were mentioning. I spoke with the Attorney General's office when the coronavirus came in, and we're trying to figure out a way to satisfy the open meetings law. And the Attorney General's office said, well, what's your solution, Mr. Lynch? And I explained to them that we had been doing all this live streaming as a way of making sure the public got all the information.
Yes.
Well, 2 days after that, the Attorney General issued a separate order and their order mirrored the description I had given them. So I think what happened was the entire state of Ohio said, let's do what Newton Falls has been doing. That's the example. We really did. We did set the scene and create the protocol for communities to satisfy the open meetings law. And there are some communities that still to this day are not following the Newton Falls profile. Down in Columbus, Cincinnati, throughout the state, they're aware of the Newton Falls protocol for public meetings. And Tom, we couldn't do it without you and your crew.
Oh, thanks. I'm very happy to be involved. I think it's a wonderful production. What's really helped us out is even though we can't have a camera operator in the city council room because of the limitation of 10 people, we have robotic cameras now. So I could sit back in production control and control a camera to zoom in and move around, and it makes it possible for us to do those kind of things. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been very interesting, we'll say that.
Well, Gregory Films has now become part of the Newton Falls family, and we're better off for it. And I assure you, Tom, there are more curveballs that will be thrown your way. We don't know what the road ahead has in store for us, but knowing that you and your crew are there ready to adapt to it, we appreciate it, and keep up the great work. And by the way, I mentioned one other thing before we adjourn our interview with you, and that is these morning briefings are being done by Gregory Films without charge to the city of Newton Falls. And boy, how meaningful that is. By the way, Tom, one thing I didn't mention before, you kind of got into this because it's something that you really do love to do. But during the coronavirus activity, our fear, of course, was that Gregory Films would be locked down to the point where it might be difficult for you to survive as a business. But can you tell us briefly that story? How did Gregory Films continue on the road to success during the COVID-19?
Well, initially, I lost probably $1,500 to $2,000 a month in income, and
That's a lot.
That would hurt anybody, no matter what level you're on. But quickly, things came into our realm that were different kind of productions. We're live streaming funeral services because people can't come in. We're live streaming dance recitals and displaying those on big screens. In fact, my company and Crop Photography are joining our efforts on a couple dance recitals coming up very soon, just for those reasons. So dance recitals, funeral services, high school graduations that we're doing now. So God has provided. That's all.
Yeah.
It's simply that's how it is. So
well, when
we're
things
very
open
blessed
up,
to be in this position.
You're going to have to add more staff when things open up because you'll
I'd
have
be
the
happy
new
to.
business.
I'd love to.
And the old business.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Tom Gregory at Gregory Films. Well, that brings us to the close of another edition of our morning briefing. Remember, folks, after Saturday's broadcast, we're going to be going to twice a week, Tuesday mornings and Friday mornings only. But we've enjoyed doing these things because we want to keep people informed. I got another email yesterday from a resident saying how fulfilling it was to know that they could stay in touch with their community by having these morning briefings take place. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been very informative. And we've had occasion to exchange a lot of information. But please stay in touch with the city manager's office, even though these briefings will only be happening starting next week, only 2 days a week, by calling us at the city manager's office. The number is 330-872-0806, and I want you to call me. Remember, folks, putting a Facebook post on some kind of Facebook page somewhere is not a way of communicating with me for a lot of reasons. One is that I'm not always looking at Facebook. I do have other things to do in my job. And in addition to that, we want to exchange specific information with you individually so we can address your issue. Every now and then, I read a Facebook post that says, hey, I put something up on Facebook a couple of weeks ago and Mr. Lynch hasn't responded. Well, that's because you've got my number. Talk to me, communicate with me, human style. Well, anyways, folks, that does wrap up things again. Thanks to the two Toms, Tom Colosimo, Tom Gregory of Gregory Films. Folks, keep the prayers going. As we emerge into the light of a more open economy, there is a danger of the COVID-19 kind of creeping back, like Freddy Krueger coming back into the scene again. So let's make sure we continue to flatten the curve and be sensible about things. But slowly but surely, we will get to do more events. We're all sad and disappointed that July 4th in Newton Falls has basically been washed out. No car show, no fireworks, no parade. And just yesterday, there was an announcement made, no car show either, at least on July 4th. They may bring it back at a later date. That's news, by the way. And what it really means is that 2020 has been sort of a learning process for us. I hope towards the end of the year, some of the iconic events will come back. You know, in the fall, we have something called the Chili Cook-Off. Halloween has always been a great thing. And towards the end of the year, the Christmas lighting ceremony. Wouldn't that be great to have that back on the docket again? I sure hope so. So on behalf of the city of Newton Falls and to everybody that's been involved, thanks for what you've done in tuning in twice a week next week. As I say at the end all the time, God bless America and God bless the city of Newton Falls.
And ladies and gentlemen, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.